Good evening and welcome to the Mancunian Way. Tonight we are back with match previews. Good evening, Richard. How are you?
Good evening. Yeah, it does seem a bit mad, I have to say.
Yeah, we're actually doing a proper match preview. This is really weird. A little bit weird. I don't know. I'm starting to... Does anyone think Rich is in an art gallery?
Well, I could be. It's fine North Welsh art behind me.
Bit of Picasso, couple
Paintings
of
well, sadly not originals, but paintings of Cuffin Williams, one of the great North Welsh artists.
No, listen, you're
Bit
going
of
to like
culture, Martin. Bit of culture.
I don't do culture, mate. Come on. I'm Mancunian. We don't do culture. Right. So, yes, Vader is going to join us in a bit. He's just busy at the moment. And we may have a special appearance from the early birds. Patrick as well. He's just getting his barnet cut, as they say, and up north, getting his barnet chopped. And he may come and join us.
Up north in East London. I mean, that's Cockney rhyming slang, Martin. I don't know when that became northern, but anyway.
Oh, it's like, yeah. Yes, good evening to everyone who's joined us. Sean's in, Jack Lee's in, not confident. Ray Fernley's in, and Yusuf. You knew Yusuf was going to join us tonight. You just knew this was coming up. So Manchester City take on Liverpool on Thursday evening in the fourth round of the Carabao Cup. First question to you, Rich.
Yeah.
And I already know the answer to this. Do you care about this competition?
Do I care about normally
this season? Not overall. I mean, this year.
Not hugely, no. I have to say this year, especially given this game after the World Cup, I mean, there's too many games, it's too crammed in, and if there's 4 competitions to win, this is the 4th. And I've said for a couple of seasons I really want us to win the FA Cup, so I've put the FA Cup with a lot more importance the last few years. I mean, going back to my childhood, the FA Cup was really, really important. But, I normally like us showing the Carabao Cup respect, and we've done very well in it. But I think playing this game with 3/4 of the players not back from the World Cup, pre-Christmas, no war, I just think it's an absolute nonsense. And, it's not a game that should be taking place in my eyes until
I'm gonna put all these Carabao. Anyone out there today telling me that the Carabao Cup will harm our season? I'm about to destroy your theory.
Well, I don't think it can. How can it destroy the season? Because there's probably no one's going to play in it.
Well, the
only way it destroys our season is if we play Haaland or De Bruyne and they get a season-ending injury, in which case it could completely destroy our season. But
well, this thing.
We don't even know if that'll happen.
Do you know the Carabao Cup final? We can win that before we've even hit the second leg of the next round of the Champions League.
Well, that's normal. I mean, it's normal.
No, I know, but I'm getting told the Carabao Cup is the least priority this year because of fixture congestion. And we need to save ourselves to Champions League and blah, blah, blah. Champions League doesn't really come into effect till this competition is done and dusted.
Yeah, but I think you're missing the argument, Martin, is that essentially if you play, I can't even remember how many rounds this has got, but if we've got to play another 4 games, that is potentially 4 games that get added to the end of the season because midweek games can't be moved. We can't reschedule league games that get postponed or FA Cup games to midweek when there's a Carabao Cup game on. And we actually normally, there is a Premier League game on the day of the Carabao Cup, so that has to be punted to the end of the season. So at the moment, we have a season where we are already, I think, 2 games or 3 games moved to the end of the season because of, the Queen's passing. And that is already causing later in this season the fact we could have to play very important games like Arsenal and Tottenham, potentially 3 in a week if we're not careful. We could have a Tuesday or Thursday game. You chuck in another Premier League game when the Carabao Cup gets suspended. You take possibly another Premier League game gets moved to the end because we can't play it on a midweek in, Jan or Feb when the Carabao Cup's on. And we could be adding 4 games to our last month of the season. And that is enough to derail a Champions League or derail a Premier League in a close battle. So whilst what you say is true, it ends early, it does push consequences back, and that could happen. And, realistically, in any game we play, let's say Haaland pulled a hamstring and he's out for 8 weeks tomorrow. That as well. Huge implications on the season. Alvarez is still flying helicopters around Buenos Aires celebrating.
I get it, Rich. I'm just. Oh, I'm echoing. My whole point is I don't like this. What only point is I don't like this. Don't take this serious because of what's coming. We played this game before. We played it in the FA Cup semi-final, if you remember. We played this weakened team. We've got Real Madrid, and we lost both. To me, and maybe it's me, I want to live in the here and the now. And that isn't having to go at anyone who wants to prioritise. I get it. Just to me, are we at a situation where we can be a bit choosy? Because I always look at the Carabao Cup of it gives you that boost. It gives you that winning mentality to go on into that last part of the season.
Yeah, I think that there's some pros to that. But the flip side is we can have no doubt we fell over the line last year in the league.
Big time.
And ultimately we lost to Real Madrid because of primarily because of the fitness of our defenders. We lost Walker, we lost Stones, we had Laporte limping over the line, we had Diaz out. Basically, and the main reason for injuries is too much football. Sometimes it's unlucky, but sometimes it's mainly just fatigue. And in the case of the end of last season, it was the fact we kept trying to we rushed Stones back, we rushed Diaz back, we rushed Walker back because of the amount of football we had, and then they got more seriously injured. And I think we lost the Champions League to Chelsea because at the end of that season, Chelsea were in a much better shape than we were. We fell over the line that year. We lost the FA Cup semi. We had to weaken teams in the league. And, we had players like Rodri who, got overplayed and was just, a shadow at the end of the season. And I think, there's a real danger of that again. And, it happened to Liverpool last year. There is no doubt in my mind that Liverpool a month or 2 before the end of the season would have smashed Real Madrid, as probably would we. But City and Liverpool, because of the intensity of the Premier League, the number of trophies, and Liverpool went through all 4 last year, they got to the end of the season and the state of their fitness and their, medical readiness for games was light years behind Real Madrid, who hadn't played in 4 intense competitions, had probably had a lot of almost buys in the league because of how easy some of the games are in La Liga. And they were just fitter, stronger, and in better shape because they just weren't knackered. The fatigue wasn't.
The dates for the Carabao Cup, obviously we've got the 4th round coming up. The quarterfinals are in January of the week, the 10th, 11th, which is FA Cup weekend. Then we're going into the semi-finals on January 25th and February the 1st. On January 25th, February the 1st, we are due to play Wolves at home and then Tottenham away on the 5th. So there's a little bit of manoeuvring in there, a little bit. I think this is where the squad comes in, because on Thursday we've got a lot of players missing, a lot of players missing, which I don't think Liverpool have as many, do they? I think Liverpool have got quite a few back.
This is the thing. I genuinely don't. Liverpool didn't have as many. I think they only had about 6 fewer than us going to the World Cup. So, they start from a base. With players going. I assume Liverpool had a couple going towards the end of the World Cup, because they obviously had Konate, and I'm not sure if that's the only one going quite late. A lot of their players went out earlier.
Apart from Konate.
Yeah, I think they're probably like us. I think they had one player in the final. So,
but none of ours are back. There's a lot of ours not back.
Yeah. Well, Alvarez is still flying helicopters over Buenos Aires, and
well, I mean, just hold that thought a minute, because I want to bring in Veta Games, and I want to bring in Pat. I cannot speak tonight. I don't know what's on me. This person I'm going to bring in now, Veta Games TV, is an absolute legend. I was on his show earlier on. Please go and give him a subscribe. You all know who he is. You know what he brings. He has a little bit of sabbatical. We're going to bring in Veta. Good evening.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you guys.
And also, I'm going to bring in somebody else who's got on the missing list recently. Who's I don't know what he's doing behind there. He's been jet setting again, hasn't he, Rich?
Yeah. I think he's got all over excited because Australia showed a thing where they're 9th in the World Cup. So they, very excited.
We're going to bring in from the Early Bird podcast, an absolute fantastic podcast on Spotify and Apple podcast. If you want to go subscribe to them, here is Pat from the Early Birds. Good evening. How are you?
Good morning. Good evening, everybody. I'm doing well. Thank you. How are we all?
Not too bad. I just need to change something. There we go. That's better. You're all fitting in nicely now. Hang on a minute. I've got Rich in an art gallery and Patrick's having a game of Mirror Maze. I don't know what he's doing here.
And Veta's at the City training ground.
And I'm on the pitch. So it's all good for the game. Good evening to you both. We'll start with you, Veta. I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Rich, because I'm really intrigued to get people's thoughts just on this season alone. Are you bothered about Thursday night, basically?
Yes, I'm bothered. Bothered in I want
to win.
I want to win. And it's for two important reasons. Our best seasons under Pep has been when we've pursued this cup. Like when Pep's made this part of the priority in terms of getting the team laser focused, playing at a high level, everyone in tune, winning way. This has been an important fixture, right? It's been a target for us. So that's one. And then two, I hate Liverpool. I hate, and again, I know you guys are like, Vader, let it go. The Community Shield, don't worry about it. It's not in the grand scheme of things. When we're raising the trophy at the end of the season, that's more important. I hate Liverpool. I hated that we lost the Community Shield. I don't want to lose another match to them. And that's why I am bothered. I'm bothered. I want us to put whoever's available. And I think Rich and you were talking earlier, we're not sure who's exactly here. I don't care. I don't care who's exactly here. But whoever's here, the best 11, I want them to put on their best performance possible.
I think you just inspired Rich. That face was like, you know what?
No, I'm actually, I'm feeling the complete opposite, because I think the the argument I've flipped back to Veta is the best season that we had under Pep. We ended up ultimately failing in the Champions League, and we can.
Not bothered. I'll take that.
Yeah, but you may not be bothered, but the players, the manager, the owners, and everyone at the club is. So I think we've got to be realistic enough to say that it may be the best season we had under Pep, but it wasn't the season we wanted. And we have to.
Okay, Rich, hold on, Rich.
Has everyone had a chat with Pep and the players? Do you all know the Champions League's up there as well?
Okay, Martin.
What has been the best season under Pep?
Undoubtedly, the Centurion season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you going domestic?
No, I think the Centurion season was
more than the Formidables.
Yeah, I think the Centurion season was the best we've
no other team. No other team's done century either.
Yeah.
Pat, come on, talk sense into these. The Formidables was the best season ever when it under Pep. Have a word.
Yeah, Formidables is the best season, not just in club history, but in English club history.
Yeah, the Centurions would have been...
From a domestic standpoint, of course.
He's arguing in it.
I think the reason I think the Formidables is the best season is the fact that it's off the back of the Centurions.
Repeating and doing what we
did.
That's
to go, not only to have that fantastic season, the Centurions, but then to go... If you want to call it one step better, I mean, really, we got one extra trophy and we're only 2 points off. If Mahrez hadn't set a penalty into Rosette at Anfield, we would have had another 100-point season. So for me, it's just if Centurions and Formidables were like over 5 years apart, then I'd probably say Centurions.
Yeah.
But because it's off the back of such a to do it off the back of such a dominant season, I think it's just something is impressive. Really
take
impressive.
it to the comments. Centurions or Formidables, tell us. I want to know because me and Pat are on the Formidables. Only because never been done. The great Sir Alex Ferguson has never done it.
Yeah, and the Centurions was never been
done. Listen.
Yeah, I just think...
4 trophies. The mighty Liverpool, the greatest ever team the world has ever seen. Liverpool couldn't do
the
it.
Centurions was based around. The Centurions was based around a defence, based around Fabian Delph and Nicolas Otamendi, and getting 100 points with that was unparalleled. And the Centurions was a breakout. It was players coming in like Edison for the first season and coming in and doing it. Like the Formidables just copied themselves.
Why is there such a
season before?
I gotta ask this: why is there such a belief or perception that to get what's eluded us requires us not winning on Thursday?
Because every time for the last 2 or 3 years we get to the end of the season, we're running on fumes. We're tired. We've
woke him up. You woke him up, gentlemen. Just to let you know.
And same. To be fair, I said to Martin just before he came on that happened to Liverpool last year. Liverpool were a far better side than Madrid for most of that season, but in that final, Liverpool were tired. They were not able to play their normal football. They were starting to make mistakes. They had injuries. That's happened to us. That's why we lost to Chelsea. We're a far better side than Chelsea, but Chelsea reached that point of the season in a stronger, fitter position than we did. And I think that chucking in 5 games between now and February is going to put an intolerable strain on our fitness.
Told you woke him up.
Rich is going to be on defense for this game.
Right, okay, right. We've heard, Pat, before I go into who is available, we know who is available. Are you bothered about Thursday? If we get beat, are you not going to shed a tear and just move on to the next one? Move on to Leeds?
Yeah, at the moment, my thoughts are pending or provisional. Like, I do feel given
that's for Alan.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
We salute the general, World Cup winner. Well done.
And just look at that lovely, cute smile there.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
La Liga Player of the Year, Premier League, Team of the Year, Premier League Team of the Year, World Cup winner, the general.
We do this, Vader, because Alan thinks Otamendi is absolute garbage. And
he thought he was a trash player.
Yeah.
He did have some
never
howlers when he
seen
was here.
A fan give one player so much abuse. And I mean, I'm surprised he's not been on Australian TV and talked about it because he hates him.
Oh, man. Well, it must be tough when he does have those moments of brilliance. He does go to ground a little too much, but he was a general for us at times.
I think he had a role like Claudio Bravo did. He helped change the way we played. He added the risk in defence.
Pat, back to you, mate. Carabao Cup. Are you just like, screw it this year? We've got bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, I think getting Liverpool so early in the rounds, and also with this World Cup season being unlike any other season we've had, there is a part of me that just almost feels like this is a pre-season in December vibes in a way. Of course, my thoughts are pending. My thoughts are provisional. I mean, as soon as I see the squad come out on Friday morning over here for us, that could completely change. But at the moment, I'm not exactly too bothered with it. I know I'd said on your show and on our podcast as well, it's just like, I want the Carabao Cup as much as I want that first Champions League. But because of obviously a less than favourable draw, in the fourth round, I'm kind of not that bothered. But again, ask me again in about 48 hours time.
Do you know what? It's Liverpool. We haven't won in 4. And there's another thing that's bothering me here. Is he texting you at the same time? When was the last time Manchester City lost 2 on the bounce?
Oh.
Across all competitions?
Point I'm making is City don't lose 2 on the bounce very often.
I'm getting like, what was it, formidable season when I think we lost to Palace and Leicester in December.
The season after that, we must have lost 2 on the bounce.
Oh yeah, surely. Yeah, 1920 we had a stretch of horrible stretch of games.
No, the point making, we lost against Brentford. They're gonna want to turn that around.
I think that Martin, I almost think I said rather you talk about 2 games, 5
He's not having it, is it? Rich is not having the Carabao Cup.
I mean, there might be one player, maybe 2 players who played in both those games, and they're going to be 5 weeks apart. I don't think there's any consequence of the 2 against each other.
Off here.
Yeah, that was my phone. Sorry about that.
Right, just vibrating things, all sorts. I apologise to everyone. No, Rich, I get it. I get the people who are sat there going, do you know what? I want to Thursday, I can take or leave it. We've only just got Ake, Laporte, and Rodri back today. There are contrasting reports on Akanji. We don't know whether he is or he isn't in this country right now. We just don't know. If he's not here, I don't know why. The England squad are given longer. That's another subject for another time. If anyone does want to touch on that, fine, go ahead. Edison's not back. So I suppose the best 11 we can roll out with is probably, are you willing to give Rodri, Laporte, Ake game time without any proper sort of game time? Or do you look at this as they played in the World Cup? This is just like normal training. They can waltz out and go.
They're not unfit. They've just had a week's rest. So I don't think there's any worry about bringing players back because of fitness or something like that. They should be ready to slot in. But it's whether you're going to have the team up for it, whether you do think you're going to risk injuries, whether, if they've travelled, from Spain or whatever, it's not an issue. But if Edison's gone back to Brazil or anything, then you're going to, you want to give people a break after a massive flight like that, because that again can risk injury. So I genuinely don't know. I mean, I'm much more concerned, honestly, and I'd rather be talking now about Boxing Day and who's going to be back for Boxing Day, and because that's a game that really does matter. Who's going to be back for that day? Are we going to be able to field a proper team? That honestly is more of a bother to me now. I mean, I was more irked by the letter going out to their fans than I was.
We're coming to that. That is coming. We're going to talk about that. All right. Akanji was seen in training today. It's not been put anywhere, Charlie. The only ones who've been announced by City was Laporte, Rodri. That's why I said whether any people have seen him or not. There will be unprecedented. Some players will be back. There will come us have a month off. I mean, why are our England team not there? Why is Jack doing Home Alone around New York? Why is Calvin Phillips not there? Why is John Stones not there? Why are our England contingent not there and everyone else is back? Because we've all got the same season. We've all got the same amount of games to come. We've all got the same similar schedule. Not all of our England players are given extra off. Why?
Well, were they given extra off, or have the others chosen to come back sooner?
For every other team to be back, Rich, and our England lads
that could just reflect the professionalism of non-English players versus English players. No, I mean,
he's in a right.
I didn't think about that.
I'd be very surprised if we've said, right, two teams go out on the same day. One of you get an extra 3 days based on what country you're from. I'd be amazed about that. So either it's because England's quarterfinal was later and they're coming back staggered, or they've been given a certain amount of time and some players have chosen to come back sooner. Like, I believe De Bruyne came back sooner than he.
De Bruyne played on Saturday.
And it wouldn't surprise me if someone like Rodri has said, I'm coming back on the first possible opportunity, where someone like Jack said, I'm going to go and play on the piano in HBO Sports in New York. Because of their, contrasting, attitudes to life off the pitch.
Yeah, apparently Akanji was seeing it in training, so maybe he's back then.
Well, that's great news. Great news.
So,
I'm hoping it might be a case. I'm hoping it might be a case of they're trusted to be training not at the facility and will be available for Thursday. Because there's been a
Jack Grealish was eating pepperoni pizza in New York. That ain't no form of training.
I know Grealish isn't going to be part of the play.
That ain't no training, mate.
Maybe he's going to be meeting up with the team over there in New York. But maybe Pep's kind of done the whole players training in secrecy type thing with Walker when he was injured and Stones last season. So I don't know. Maybe it's something that's kind of kept under wraps, and it'll be like a little bit of a reveal or unveiling for Thursday or even tomorrow, Wednesday, training wise. But I'm not stressing it too much. I think the plan is obviously long term. We've said this before. The trophies that we want to be lifting late in the season, obviously, it means that these players are going to be managed time wise and with their energy now. I think I saw it in the comments. Actually, after this match, there's 6 days rest, but maybe the plan.
Yeah, we don't play till the 28th. Everyone else is on a Boxing Day. We're not the Boxing Day game. We're the 28th.
Okay.
So maybe that's it. I don't know. It's just the way. But and listen, this is where Pep and the doctors come in.
Yeah.
I mean, Pat, have you got any thoughts on why our English contingent are not back?
Not necessarily. I think every club and every country, had a certain time frame they wanted their players back, regardless of what time in the World Cup their country exited. I'm questioning why certain players that may have spent a lot more time on the bench than they did on the pitch in Qatar seem to be coming back at the same time as players who played 90 minutes every 3 days while over in the Middle East. Calvin Phillips is a good example of that. I'm not sure why he seems to be a bit delayed. But
Grealish as well. Grealish didn't play a lot.
No, yeah, true. He did. He was more like a super sub, wasn't he? Without super, but yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one, but then again, I think as we mentioned, with the game being on the 28th, just that 6-day break is certainly going to help the players with their training and coming back, back to play with the squad and things like that. That's another part of the reason where I'm not exactly too bothered against Liverpool, because I do feel like both teams are going to play quite a few more academy players, juniors. I don't know if Pep and Klopp might have some sort of gentleman's agreement where they may agree to play a certain amount of academy players, but it seems like the fact of the matter is that we definitely had a lot more players go to Qatar than what Liverpool did, and certainly had a lot more stay longer in Qatar than those from Liverpool that actually went. So I feel like there may be some sort of a gentleman's agreement there where they may have like a 1-for-1, where if he plays a certain academy player in a position, you'll have a certain academy player marking him in the opposing position as well. So yeah, again, it's we've been saying this since the news came out 2 years ago, whatever it was, that they were going to be playing a World Cup in Christmas. And there's just question marks with everything now, with when players are going to return, who's going to play in each match, and obviously the time in between each fixtures now too. I mean, this is insane. Like, it's great to have this 6-day break, but once we play Leeds and that, it's just full steam ahead. There are some games where there's basically 48 to 72 hours in between, and we just have to wait and see what happens, and just hope that we're great. We're gracious. We're grateful that a lot of the squad players have come back healthy, or they appear to have come back healthy. So that's going to help us with the league run, through December into January. And I was going to ask Rich this question too, but I thought I'd run it to you guys as well. Would you be happy if we lost this match against Liverpool if it meant that we went on a league run, and by say mid-January, we're pretty much level or very, very within like a point of Arsenal?
Yeah.
That's my thought. It's just like the league is more important for me. This Liverpool fixture has changed my perception on how much I wanted the Carabao Cup.
Don't say it.
And yeah, to me personally, it's like if we went on a run and we beat Leeds, we beat Everton, we beat Chelsea, we beat Wolves, and next thing you know, we've closed the gap on Arsenal in a very short space of time. I'll take that any day of the week over wanting to beat Liverpool in the cup.
I just had a light bulb moment. The way we've been
he mentions these 3 letters.
No, bear with me. The way we've been wondering, where are these players, right? What did Pep tell them? When were they to return? Could it be that he told them, I don't want you returning before this match, so that the excuse is already built in for him to have to play the non-key guys for this match? So Rich Gundalorian, they're satisfied with it not being the key guys playing this match to be ready for the latter ones. Now, whether we win or not, who knows? But he's already got the built-in excuse because they're not available to be selected. What do you guys think?
I'll let Rich and Thing go ahead with that.
I think he will have maybe encouraged them not to come back for this game because he doesn't want them to play in this game. I don't know that Pep really cares about excuses or not. I think he'll send out who he sends out. We'll still want to. We could play not one single first teamer and still want to win the game. I mean, you don't send academy players out not to try, but I think it's just depending who they're up against. But I do think that clearly it's all about getting the players back for the 28th, getting them back for the Premier League and getting those results in quick succession, like Pat said. I think that's what Pep's thinking about. I think he's probably annoyed that this Liverpool game is when it is. I think he probably thinks it's stupid by the fixture lists, and I think it's probably an annoyance for Pep.
Rich, I wouldn't be surprised if Pep almost considers this like a free hit. It's a warm-up leading up to the league and he's playing against quality opposition and it's a good chance for those who are fit to play, and then for the young ones to have a proper baptism of fire and play against play against tough opposition like Liverpool.
Yeah, and that may be true, but the trouble with the free hit is it's a free hit that comes with 4 bonus games in January or early Feb. So
my only thing to that, to Vader's point, is I think Pep already had his team in mind when this got done. Only because I remember his comment of, I'll play right back and Klopp will play centre back. I think he already had this game of, yeah, I'm going to have to go with whatever I've got. Now, don't forget, we've still got Kevin De Bruyne. We've still got Ortega, who ain't no shabby goalkeeper. He's better than Kelly, let's put it that way. You have Erling Braut Haaland, who has not been to a World Cup. Yeah? You have Riyad Mahrez. You have a Kanji back. Apparently, the 3 who are back are Rodri. Laporte is not back yet. I don't know why. So maybe to Rich's point, Rodri has come back on his own earlier. Because none of the Portuguese boys are back yet either.
Do Liverpool even have Darwin Nunez back? Because even though Uruguay got knocked out in the group stages, I heard he's not even back yet. Yeah,
Liverpool have Alisson back, Trent Alexander-Arnold back, Van Dijk is back.
Golden Ball winners have to stay back at the World Cup. After his 11 goals in the World Cup, he had to stay back for all the publicity and the award ceremonies and everything, Patrick. So I don't think he's back at Anfield till the new year with all the stuff from his success in Qatar.
Right.
See, Charlie's telling me he's posted it, but I'm reading it from the MEN, who have posted tonight that Laporte wasn't back. So, well, obviously, maybe he's back.
None of the Portuguese players will be back yet, would they?
None of the Portuguese. Apparently, Diaz, there was a rumour of Diaz has actually come back injured.
Ooh, actually, sorry. I just want to correct something I said. I didn't mean the built-in excuse like not to play to win. I just meant the built-in excuse to not have the players available to not field the strongest team, because we know that there's a portion of the fan base that would be like, why didn't you field the best team? We want to win this. So he can kind of navigate around that because they're not here presently.
Could I bring up the issue of Rodri as well too? Because it was said on this show and on our podcast quite a lot that leading up to the World Cup, we did say Rodri looked knackered. He looked really tired from this, this first half of the season, whatever you want to call it. Then we find out that Rodri, we thought that, I think before we went away for the break, I think we said, hopefully Rodri gets some rest because Busquets will probably get for the number 6 role for the Spain national team. And then we find out that pretty much every match that Spain played, Rodri's playing at centre back. Do we feel that, given that we're worried about his fatigue and, how much game time he had, that we're quite happy to have a player like Rodri actually come back a bit later than many of the others?
Yeah, I mean,
because some games I watched Spain play and he looked tired.
But one thing I do, I really, really want to see is Calvin Phillips get some game time.
Oh.
Yeah, Calvin Phillips. Exactly. I want to see him. I want to see him get some game time. I want to see him start to fit in the side. I want to see that ability to rotate Rodri. So, I like Rodri as a footballer, but I'd be quite happy to see him getting 5 or 6 games rest and Calvin Phillips starting in the next month.
We'll probably see Calvin start at Ellen Road then on the 28th. Then,
yeah, that would be That would certainly be interesting.
Interesting.
But I'd definitely want to see Phillips get some time in the team, get used to the team, get some game time, and Rodri getting some rest, because I think Rodri's the player who always looks like he gets overplayed. Him and
he played
recent years, Kyle Walker has been the same.
Kyle Walker's been still Martin. He's still playing.
Yeah, but he played centre back, I suppose. I mean, he actually played bleeding good at centre back as well. I've got to give the devil his due there. I always thought he was Bobbins at centre back, but Surprised me a little bit, centre back. But yeah, no, I get it. He's played, but I think sometimes with Rodri pushes to play. I think he's one of them players who doesn't want to rest. Because I think he just
He'll
looks
never
at
admit
him
he's
and plays
tired.
like, play me.
Yeah, he'll never admit that he's fatigued or he's tired.
No,
Yeah.
he'll never ever do it. He just will not do it. So,
and in all honesty, there's no one that can provide the coverage that he does. Like we can't.
I think Bernardo could have a go, but he's obviously not back.
Yeah, but
only because he did say that was his best position, mate. Bernardo, was it Rich who said that he likes being deeper alongside?
Yeah, he said it in an interview. In an interview before the World Cup, that he thought he was best playing, at the base of midfield.
Oh, okay. He's more involved. He's definitely more involved, and he has that freedom to even go high up the pitch in an attacking role at times, depending on how we're being defended against. So I could see that. We've all seen him be isolated on that right wing where he probably has maybe a half, possibly quarter of the touches that he would normally have if he was deeper in our midfield.
I mean, let's have a look at the 11 we could roll out. Ortega, he's not a shabby goalie. Rico Lewis at right back. Maybe Salah's one bit too many for him. I don't know, but I suppose you've got to try the kid at some stage. If he's going to be the successor to Kyle, might as well give him a go. You centre back pairing.
Rico at right back wouldn't face Salah. He'd be facing.
Is Luis Diaz fit again? Because I know he injured himself. Diaz is out. He's still out.
Depends what to do with Salah. Because he could do it.
Who would he face? It'd probably be Nunez, right? Wouldn't they play? I think they play Nunez on that side.
On the left.
Like you're saying, Darwin still hasn't come back, even though Uruguay got knocked out.
Because there's no Jota, there's no.
Darwin's
Diaz.
back. Played in a friendly.
Oh, he did.
They've got most of their players back. They've got Firmino's back, Nunez.
Everyone's virtually
back.
It could be Firmino or Nunez.
Jota's back. They've got a full strength, and I think most of their England players are back. Alcantara's back. I don't know if Fabinho's fit. Whether he's back.
It's safe to say they're going to have all their first team back except for Konate and Van Dijk.
Van Dijk's back training.
Already.
All right, this guy just said, thank you, Anna Ethiopia. Appreciate that. Wilson and Trippier are back.
Yeah. So I think
my Pep theory. I think it's holding water. Pep told them, take your time, don't come back.
Phillips won't be playing Stephen because he's not back yet, mate. They're not back.
He should be. I mean, to be honest, I'm a bit with Phillips and Grealish. I'm a bit disappointed whether they're given the break or not, that they're not back there saying, Phillips should have been back. 12 hours after they got knocked out of the World Cup, he should have been walking to the hotel.
Gundogan was. KDB was.
Yeah, he should have been knocking on that door saying, I want to play against Liverpool because I want to get in this team. I want to, show my fitness. So, whilst from the managers and the team point of view, I don't want those players playing. There's certain players who haven't played a lot for City who should be knocking on that door desperate to play. And Phillips is one of those. I mean, I quite get how, the players who are mainstays of the team like Foden or Laporte, want to think about the big end of the season. They want to think about the fitness. They want to take that time. But Phillips shouldn't. Maybe, some people might say Grealish shouldn't either. He should be there knocking on the door.
A lot of people agree with you here, Rich. They say, do you know what as well? After what Alvarez has just done in the World Cup, Grealish might be having some competition on that side. So wouldn't you think Grealish needs to go? I'll come back early, thanks, and show you what I'm made of.
This might be a chance for Grealish too, because let's be honest, we may not see Alvarez on the pitch in a City shirt maybe until the new year, maybe after the Chelsea or Wolves.
Yeah, I'm assuming he'll be allowed to stay in Argentina for Christmas, and he'll be back sometime.
There'll be so much promotional stuff, and things going on there in Buenos Aires and the other big cities, Cordoba and stuff like that. There'll be so much stuff going on.
Yeah, I'm sure Pep will want him to go, and after all the celebration, he'll probably want him to have 3 or 4 quiet days, with his family, just to try and get his head straight before he even thinks of coming back.
That's not a bad team. Looking at this, like I said, you got Ortega. If Akanji's back, like they're saying, you could have a Akanji right back. If not Rico Lewis, you could do Akanji. Laporte and Ake could be your 2 centres.
Yeah.
Your left side, Gomez. Rodri is your CDM.
I'd switch Rodri with Phillips. But apart from that, it looks good.
Phillips who?
Calvin.
Not back.
Still not back.
None of the England.
No, but I mean, if he was back, I would have that over Rodri.
So
yeah.
You have Rodri, KDB, Gundogan, which I know me and Rich are going to go stir crazy at, but that's the midfield you've got. And then you can do a front 3 of Mahrez, Haaland, Palmer, Mahrez. That's not a bad team. And I don't think Liverpool, listening to Klopp today, are going to roll out their biggest 11 either. So I don't think this game is as people are thinking we're going to get smashed in.
In a way, Martin, I think Liverpool, it would be even stupider for Liverpool than City to rush too many players back, because they've got an even, they've got an existential, Champions League position. They've got to come top 4. I mean, and they've got a lot more work to do than we have. We're second, they're sitting 6th. So they've got points to make up just to get top 4, whereas we're thinking about making up points on Arsenal. So I think Klopp would be stupid to, risk 5 games.
And they play 2 days earlier than us. They're away at Villa.
Yeah, I think. Anything I say applies to City applies to Liverpool equally.
So what you mean is this could be who wants to lose on Thursday?
To be honest, those in the chat and those here that are not necessarily bothered about the match against Liverpool, are we more concerned, or are we more hoping that Vincent Kompany could do one against the Rags at Old Trafford?
Oh, that'd be good.
That'd be brilliant.
Coming off the bench.
If that happens tomorrow, and we lose 3-0, I'll be a little bit annoyed, but I'll be like, that's a nice.
He needs to make a football comeback on the
pitch. Okay. Let me throw this scenario for you. I get the thing of I'm not bothered. It's Carabao Cup, there's bigger fish to fry. It's in an awkward position because of the season. Fine. I don't see Pep getting beat by Liverpool again as one of them, really. Pep's a proud man. I don't see it.
Oh, we lost Rich.
That's what Rich thought of that one.
Good thing it's not a helmet, Ken.
Rich thought, what a load of bollocks. That's going right off. Do you not think Pep's going to be like a bit proud and I don't want to get beat by these again? He's not 1-4.
I think you win the war. Winning a battle is irrelevant if it doesn't matter.
I'm just not having it with Rich. Rich is just straight batting everything back.
Yeah. It's about winning the war.
I'm just thinking of Pep's pride.
Yeah, but I think Pep thinks about Premier League trophies compared to Liverpool. I don't think he thinks about the one-off games as much. I think he's quite happy sitting back with his Premier League trophy. And Jurgen Klopp sitting there with the I beat City Cup. And I think Pep prefers the Premier League trophy.
You'd be happy to lose a battle if it meant winning the war.
I know Pep's the most animated ever when we play Liverpool. That's the game that ignites him.
Yeah, but I reckon the best thing for playing Liverpool is give Pep a week off and just play the same team we played the week earlier in the same tactics, rather than let Pep have a week to invent a new way of... I mean, we had 17 right-backs and 6 left-backs against Liverpool at Anfield and no one playing in any normal position, and we lost. So maybe that's the secret. Maybe that's the secret for Champions League finals. Just give Pep a week off. Just play the team that played the last week.
True.
Just don't change anything.
Rich has to go in a minute. I think you two got a little bit longer, I think. Rich wants to have a 5-minute rant. Now, we've not had a Rich rant in a while.
Yep.
As you know, the two supporters trusts sat down this week and had a little meeting because some of the fans have been naughty boys, especially the last meeting at Anfield where, sadly, children left the stadium crying. Now, Rich is going to tell me that football needs to stand up and stop being mardy and everything else. I can see it on his face. Go on, Rich. Tell me why you don't agree.
I'm just going to say, I couldn't believe it because, firstly, if you tell people in a patronising kind of write a letter to them way how they should behave and how they should think, you can almost totally guarantee they're all going to go in the completely opposite direction. So, firstly, I reckon this letter actually stirs things up. It doesn't calm it down because you can just see on Twitter, the average season ticket holder who's got this letter is just irked. A, they feel they're being blamed for what is 90% the behaviour of Liverpool fans, which has really annoyed them personally. And B, they don't feel it's the club's place to tell them who they should and shouldn't hate and how they should feel about Liverpool and the Liverpool fans' behaviour. So I reckon the letter has stirred things up. It's made trouble more likely to happen because it's actually brought, people who weren't thinking about it as an issue now are. People who, were perhaps mildly annoyed with Liverpool are now very annoyed with Liverpool. And I think it's also caused a bit of indignity in the fans that if you actually look back at all the incidents with Liverpool over the years, they've been very much one-sided. City haven't stained and attacked Liverpool's, but City haven't done half the things that the Liverpool fans have done, and City's managers hasn't stirred up the game like Klopp's done and tried to cause trouble. So it's been very one-sided what's been done, and then because of a few idiots singing a song at Anfield, Liverpool have somehow managed to turn it into this is a 50-50 thing that it's City and Liverpool. It's not. It's City fans hating the fact that Liverpool get away with impunity of behaving like in absolutely disgraceful ways. I mean, you haven't seen the trouble with City in Europe like we have consistently with Liverpool in recent years. I'm not going back to tragedies of past. And whilst I thought any fan singing about Hillsborough, or Heysel, I don't think there's any need for it. I think it's disgusting. I think it's wrong, but it's minor compared to what has been done by Liverpool against City, and so I think the clubs have both made a mistake. I think they will have actually got the fans' backs up, and they will have actually made trouble far more likely than it was before. And so it's self-defeating and a bit stupid in my eyes. So, and I think it's offended a lot of City fans. I'm seeing a lot of City fans, I'm not a season ticket holder. I wasn't at these games. I haven't had the letter, so I'm not saying personally, but I'm seeing season ticket holder after season ticket holder on Twitter and things like that, angry that they feel they've been, accused of something they've not done.
I wholly agree. It's not a 50-50 thing. Never was. What City fans did at Anfield, I said at the time, was a disgrace. I say the exact same about City fans who do it at the Swamp. Because what City fans need to realise that the Munich air disaster was a joint thing.
Yeah.
And the City of Manchester.
People die. We have
a rule in our supporters club where basically if anybody in our group sings any sort of Munich chants, they're pretty much out.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
not out of the group, but they leave the pub. They're asked to leave the pub.
I would say it's probably 25-75. If I'm going to be just my personal opinion. Now, I'll be straight with you. I think Liverpool have. What made it worse was it was assigned. Like, wouldn't even been signed, it would have been electronically, or one of these automated signature things from Soriano and the chief execs at Liverpool. Did it as a joint statement to basically behave yourself. And as Rich says, Thursday night, fans won't behave themselves. If you get told to not do something, what do? You want to do the bloody opposite. When your mums and dads tell you you're not allowed to do something, don't touch that plug over there. You'll get shocked. What does the kid want to do? Start prodding away at the bloody plug socket. It's like, come on, you could have done it so better than being a patronising email. That is so impersonal, but they make it look personal because it comes to your email box. What a load. And there'll be a load of messages that go out on the board on Thursday night. Don't do this. And then to top it all off, if you see any of this, please report it to the local authorities.
Yeah. That's ridiculous. No one's going to be snitching and turning on fellow fans with regards to that. You'll do your best to stop that, tone it down. You'll police amongst your own, but no one's ratting anybody out.
No. We, like Jack Lee said, we don't sit and boo the national anthem. There are reasons why Liverpool fans believe what they believe. That is fine. That's their personal belief. But if they think, as Ray Ferner just says, one email is going to eradicate everything that's happened, especially the last time we went to Anfield, where our bus keeps getting smashed up, what do we just all forget? I'm not saying go ahead and do it.
And I think the Merseyside police play a big part in this, because it seems to me that there are crimes committed when we go there. Fireworks, bottles, rocks thrown at buses, bus destroyed, coins thrown at Pep. But every time the Merseyside police look into anything, they never find anyone.
No.
Despite the fact
Rich, even when West Ham played at Anfield
in some cases, people were throwing rocks stood within about a foot of Merseyside police who managed to stand there, the rock practically going past their head, and what's happened here?
Rich, even when West Ham played at Anfield a couple of months back too, there were a couple of fans got ambushed by by a group of Liverpool fans as well too. So it's not just a Manchester Liverpool sort of thing. It's just Liverpool in general. I mean, that can happen at any club too, but it's just it goes beyond just the tale of two cities, basically.
Just two wrongs don't make a right. That's someone has to be the bigger person there and go, this has to stop before someone seriously gets hurt, because that's where this will lead eventually. If we were at Main Road and still in them back streets, my God, what would happen? And you know what I mean by that, Rich. Them back streets were nightmares when they wanted to be.
That's true, Martin, but letting Liverpool off every time for their behaviour, as is starting to happen.
Because the media darlings, Rich.
Yeah, but that's the point. That media darling, that letting Liverpool off, is letting them go one step further. And, that West Ham fan got absolutely battered. Liverpool, when they go to Europe, they think they can go round chucking old pensioners into fountains and nicking stuff and,
pissing in fountains.
And a lot of things, that the other clubs aren't doing. So I think they're actually almost playing to the fact that they're getting away with it, and they're doing more and more. And I think that there is going to be another major incident in football if they are allowed to keep getting away with stuff. The rocks that are thrown at coaches are going to bounce off and hit someone on the head and kill them, or something like that's going to happen, because it is being whitewashed almost by the fact that those things happen and not one person even got arrested and questioned, when there's 40, 50 people quite clearly on camera doing it. It's all being filmed. I mean, it's just a nonsense. And the fact that City have now come in and tried to say this is a 50-50 thing is letting Liverpool off. It's letting Liverpool off. It's saying that this wasn't about some idiot fans who I'll completely condemn the singing of the City fans that they did. It's completely wrong. But it's saying that there wasn't 5 or 6 games where Liverpool have just upped the ante in terms of their bad behaviour, in terms of their rhetoric. Jurgen Klopp tried to stir up that trouble. He tried to stir trouble between City and Liverpool to get Liverpool fired up because they weren't playing well. they keep playing with it, and it's.
My missus just came in and went, "We're not going."
After hearing what Rich had to say.
I think she's taking the piss, but she just wants to know.
That's funny.
But
No,
Rich,
do you know
because
what
she doesn't want to behave herself.
No, listen, my missus will be the one in front of the coach going, "Come on, then." Didn't get hard enough. Trust me, my missus ain't sitting there like, "I'll prim and proper." No, to me, do you know what makes it worse as well? This is the first competitive game back after the World Cup. Fans have had 5 or 6 weeks of pent up not going to games. Yeah. It's Christmas. 3 days before Christmas, they'll all be out on the piss in the evening in Manchester. It's just, I've just realised. I don't know why. I've just sat there and gone, Thursday night, 3 days before Christmas, first game back after 5 or 6 weeks. Who came up with this fixture? Who came up with this idea?
It doesn't matter what day of the week it is because pretty much everybody's off now for the rest of the year. Yeah.
Christmas parties. This is not a good thing on Thursday night.
And nice segue, Martin, because speaking of Christmas parties, of course, Rich, we'll see you tomorrow for the Sydney Blues Christmas party.
Yeah, I think so.
So Rich will be giving it the big and then outside of it. You'll see Rich in Australia.
Oh, yeah. We're doing the same thing. We're doing the same thing we get to cheers tomorrow too.
Yeah, the Liverpool are having their Christmas party at the same time in the same pub. So
come on,
Rich, before you shoot.
Yeah.
We're not going to do a score prediction. Are we winning or we're losing? I don't care if it's straight to penalties.
Losing.
Just has to ruin it for me, doesn't it? Just has to ruin it.
I think we'll play a weaker team than you think and we'll lose. And we won't really... All
right, then. What do you mean weaker team? So what do you mean weaker team?
I think Scott Carson in goal. I reckon Finley Burns and
Rich, I've paid 40 quid for this.
Gomez
in there watching Finley Burns.
Gomez and Lewis fullbacks. Finley Burns on his own at centre.
I just realised something.
Carlos Borges up front.
I just realised. Yeah. Salah's on the same side as Sergio Gomez, isn't he?
Yeah. Salah against Gomez.
Oh,
Liverpool will play a near first strength team. So they'll have Jota.
They'll bring back Mane.
Just give me a minute. I'm just going to report a crime for Sergio Gomez.
And then we'll play the weakest team we've played in a team in about 4 years, and then we'll lose by a few goals.
And you know what? I'm going to add a bit of positivity. We're going to win. We're going to win 4-1. Haaland hat-trick. KDB. Bang. Good night, Vienna.
4-0. Ortega will have another freakish game.
I'll take it.
We've got the Norwegian machine up top.
Right,
the guy's hungry. Yes.
Happy,
Rich, you take your depressive self off. Hopefully we'll see you soon, Rich, on Thursday.
Right, cheers.
See you tomorrow, Rich.
See ya.
Do you know, I can't wait till Thursday if he's crying when we win. Is anyone positive on Thursday? Like we're going to get something, we're going to win.
Is anyone positive?
I'm always positive, but just going to this.
You're not anymore because Rich killed you.
Rich has kind of hurt that positivity. I can't lie, but it's still another day. It's another 24 hours where we get to see who shows up, who doesn't show up. But
good point. But do you know what's made it more positive for me? I'm not sure, but it's Rich. Someone mentioned it earlier. You, Pat. Is Liverpool play on the 26th? I don't think they're going to have the strongest side out like they think they're going to play.
No.
I think you might see Nico Williams and all these boys roll out.
I think Kelleher will be between the sticks for them.
Don't think Alisson plays. Don't think Van Dijk plays. I'm not 100%. Henderson, is he going to chance it when he's got 2 days, 3 days later?
No.
This is why I think we could end up with a stronger team than them.
I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised because I don't.
Yeah,
what I think is it's going to be a game of opposites where I think they'll have a lineup that may be stronger in attack, but ours will be stronger in defense, or vice versa. I'm not sure. You know what I mean?
No, does that? I don't.
Yeah.
Is he one of the?
If one team has a stronger defense than the other will have a stronger attack than the other. Which would be good because it might open up the game and might actually see a few goals and make it entertaining.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'd agree with Jack, but they have got that game on the 26th. And maybe Rich is right. Maybe it's like, are Liverpool going to prioritise this? Because Liverpool are not in a healthy position in the league. They can't afford many more losses.
Mm-hmm.
Top four in the Champions League is a lot more. It means a lot more financially than winning the Carabao Cup, because the Carabao Cup, the prize money for that competition isn't even enough to pay a week's salary for Kevin De Bruyne.
No, I wouldn't even pay De Bruyne or Haaland. So,
Nope.
Do you know what? The more I'm thinking about Liverpool Rich might have a point. Liverpool have more to lose in this. Have more to gain because of where they are in the league.
Yeah. Good point.
They can't afford any more losses in the league.
Yeah.
So that Villa game is more important. And Villa have a new manager. They were on a bounce. Probably the wrong time for Villa was that World Cup coming. They probably didn't want that World Cup at that point. Because they were on the up. I didn't know about Nico Williams. I don't know. I'm not a connoisseur on Liverpool Football Club. I do apologise. I don't watch them week in, week out. Has anyone got anything else you want to add about Thursday?
I got nothing much to add, but I will be watching you guys on Twitter. I'm going to see whatever updates get shared, whatever likes or retweets you guys put out there. Yeah,
That's it for me.
I'm that selfish City fan. I don't want to lose to Klopp. That's all.
It's him. When you have Haaland in that team, Vader and Pat, it's just the guy breeds it.
Yep. I agree.
Maybe it's wishful thinking by me. I don't know. Vader, I don't know if you've got a bounce, mate.
I do.
I have put Vader's link in the
thank you.
description. Not on the tab, but if you go into the description where it says more, that's where I'm going to put Vader's, and I'm also going to put a link to the Early Bird podcast as well. Go and give Vader Games TV a lot of love. I was on it earlier on with Carl as well, Gundalorian, and Adam. We had a lovely chat. Me and Carl disagreed again. Not that you'd be really surprised.
It was calm.
We were calm. There was no ranting and raving, but we did disagree. And that's what it's about. We don't come on here to agree with each other. It's about opinions, and we've all got different ones. If we all agreed, it'd be pointless.
It would be, exactly.
Opinions are like arseholes. Everyone has one.
You know, the thing is, Thursday night, just enjoy it.
Yep.
You've not seen City play in 5-6 weeks.
Yeah.
Because I got that free hit mentality. I am going to enjoy it. I hope we see like a 3-3 draw or even a 3-2 loss. You know, like I look back. I still look back on one of the most entertaining games I've seen in the last 5 to 10 years was still that 4-3 loss we had in the Centurion season at Anfield. Because while it's disappointing, obviously losing at Anfield, I think it was a very, very entertaining game.
See,
if we see something similar to that again, I'll walk away saying, I was entertained. I'm disappointed we're out, but I was entertained, and that's what you want in a game, regardless of what the result is. You want to be entertained as much as you want to win, or maybe being entertained is second to winning. Yeah,
Jack, that's your opinion. If you don't want to watch it because you don't want to see us get beat, fine. I am someone who I'll watch us lose, win, draw. I'm not bothered. As long as City are on, I'm there.
Yeah, I'm
not bothered.
Yeah,
you know. Sorry, that's me. If you don't want to watch it because you think we're going to lose, fine. That's up to you.
If I don't watch it, it'll probably be because I'll have a banging hangover from our Christmas party the night before. If I do watch it, it means that I haven't slept. If I do watch it, it means that I've slept and I've gone all the way through. or haven't slept in.
Anyway, mate, I don't know if you've got to shoot, mate.
Thanks again for having me on. I look forward to talking more City. And this Thursday, you know what? I'm not going to worry about Thursday. I'm going to deal with Wednesday. Look forward to seeing you guys on Twitter. Thanks for having me. Fantastic show. And
hopefully, mate, it'll come back Thursday post match.
Yes, I'll be there.
And me and Vader will be smiling.
We better be. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Vader. Good to see you again, mate.
Just going to wrap up. Have you got 5 more minutes, pal?
Yeah, I got 5.
Yeah. So, have you got any sort of, how do you see, let's take Thursday out of the equation, because I don't know how long, obviously, we'll have you on for next time, because obviously, Pat has a very important job. So, while we've got him, I thought I'll pick his brains for 5 minutes. Transfers. Do you see any in January?
No.
I've not asked you this yet. I was going to leave it till your podcast, but I thought, while you're on, I'll grab you.
No, I just can't see it. It's not in our nature as a club to do January signings. I don't think we've really had a major one since Laporte 5 years ago. It's just something we don't do. It's just something that I think maybe it's a policy with the club, and it may be more exacerbated by the fact that Pep, when he obviously has a new squad coming, he wants that squad to be ready and going for an entire season. Now, obviously, circumstance dictates that we may occasionally have new signings, whether it might be injuries or a specific player or a certain player may leave for another club. So that sometimes is the case. But in terms of the nature of the club, the culture of the club, we don't necessarily like to make additions in January. I'm sure we're more than happy to make signings in January for the following season. That's not too much of a problem. That's not too much of an issue. But yeah, I just, all this paper talk of, possibly this Guardiola coming in, the Croatian defender.
Well, he won't be coming in though, will he? He'll be coming in and then loaned out.
I think that was just a signing. I think that was just a signing to try and beat the crowd before summer. But yeah, I think at the moment it's all just paper talk, and it's just filling column inches, and there's nothing really, to me personally, that would concern me too much about, we need to sign this player in January, unless we get a bunch of injuries in the next week or so, or week or two that really shorthands us in a specific position for a while. Yeah, I can't really see much happening. If Kyle Walker's injury was a lot more long term, or if it's a recurring issue, like it might happen again in the next couple of weeks, then that's a bit more of a cause for concern. We may have to dip into the right back market. But again, if things stay the way they are and they go well, we have depth at fullback, with Walker and Cancelo and Gomez, and if the centre backs can fill in a pinch, then that's okay. That's something that we can address in the summer. But until then, I can't see anything happening in January.
I don't think we'll do anything. I think we'll buy someone in January for summer.
Yeah.
I honestly think
that's the only thing I could see. If
I think this Gavardio deal will happen. Not that I've heard anything. I've just got a feeling it will happen.
Yeah.
2 reasons. I think he's a left-footed fella, and I honestly think, even though he's a centre-back, Pep likes a centre-back at full-back. He plays full-back for Leipzig. It just all smells of this is the long. And yeah, it's a lot of money, but there's a queue for this kid. A queue.
Yep.
Every top team in the world.
I think €100 million, you're signing that player with the intention of keeping it there for 10 years.
And I also
think, I think come the summer, I think we're going to see Ake or Laporte leave.
Do you think the loan back is to get ahead of the queue?
Yeah, I do. It's similar to what Chelsea were planning on doing with Nkunku. I think they wanted to try. They wanted to sign him in January because there's going to be an absolute riot, an absolute mosh pit of clubs trying to get in on him for that 60 million euro release clause, which I think is way too cheap for a player of that quality. What Leipzig are doing is, okay, I understand it, because when they signed him for pennies on the dollar compared to what they're going to sell him for. But I think Leipzig made a mistake there. They could have put the release clause at least 80 million euro, and people would say, yeah, I'll pay that. But getting back to Guardiola, I think, yeah, just the 100 million euro, it is steep for a centre back. I totally get that. But if it means jumping the queue over everybody else to get that quality of player at such a young age at 21.
And he's versatile.
Versatile, yeah. He can play pretty much across the entire left defence, can't he?
When I look at what Manchester City are linked with, Bellingham, Saka, Gavardio, all these players, they're all young.
Yep.
They're all 19, 20, 21.
City paid the big bucks to sign a player with the intention of keeping there for 10 years.
Yeah. This is something Manchester City have always done. Manchester City, I said in the summer, and I think we all said, had sort of done phase one of a rebuild. The summer was then phase two. There was a reason they have, let's be straight and blunt about it, they hoarded money in the summer. There was a reason they stockpiled a lot of money. Yep. City could go out right now and spend $250 million like that and not even blink an eye. They'd still probably be in profit.
Well, look at it this way. Even if we hadn't sold Zinchenko, Sterling, and Jesus, financially, they were still in prime position to go for Bellingham.
Exactly. I mean, we were in profit, and people go, yeah, but you got to remember that profit we had, that was the Torres money.
Yes.
The books,
which I think we're still waiting for most of it to come through from Barcelona anyway. Yeah.
The next books that come out in April will have the Sterling, the Jesus, the Zinchenko, and all that on.
Yeah.
So
that's your Guardiola money there.
You're a year behind. Yeah. You're a year behind financially. So City are very healthy, and they'll do it over amortization, which will be so many millions.
And let's not forget too, we're going to have funds continually coming through over the next few years because we obviously did contribute financially to Real Madrid's Bernabeu stadium renovation as well too.
I look at it, Pat, and I go, Rico Lewis, successor to Kyle Walker, because I think that will be the plan.
Yeah,
the plan right now, unless he has a major fall, will be Rico Lewis to right back. Yep. So you have Rico, Gavardio, two others you want, which you can play 2 out of 3, whatever. Bellingham, if they go and get him, or a sack, they're looking for long-term strategies. Because when City buy a player, it's for 10 years. Not many players come in and leave after 2 or 3. There's the Sanes, there's the Torreses. Everyone who's there stays a good 5, 6, 7 years.
Minimum, yeah.
That's the journey. Yeah. When City spending a lot of money is fine by me, because I know for 2 or 3 years afterwards, we'll hardly spend.
Yeah. I was getting to that because you're saying about, hardly spending was, I do remember reading somewhere, this is going back a few years now, this might have been Pellegrini era, this might have been just before, or maybe around the time that Guardiola came in, was there was some sort of club proposition, or they had set themselves a target or a goal where they said, I think in 10 years' time from now, they wanted at least 40% of the squad to be English or homegrown quota players. And I think we're on that track. I think I have a feeling we must be getting close to that now. I think Rico Lewis might be one of those last players and Bellingham, if we get Bellingham, and Rico Lewis may be one of those last sort of players to get us into that 40% homegrown sort of quota. Rico Lewis is an interesting case because I would like to see him continually, get a lot more game time with Pep and nurture and progress as well too. Because I know there was a big question mark. Myself and Danny and Jeff said in a podcast about Rico. We said the only problem was just the concern was his age, because we felt like that age gap from a 17-year-old to what I think João Cancelo is the next oldest or the next youngest at 27, 28 or something like that. And I thought a 10-year gap might be a bit of a concern, and I thought this is where this argument's going to come in, where it's like, do we go for another young right back, but then does it also hinder Rico Lewis's development as well too? It's one of those things where it's like, I look at Rico Lewis and I was like, I wish he was 5 years older. But I feel like if Pep has faith in him as a 17-year-old, then I'm all for that. And I think at the same time too, having someone like a senior veteran like Kyle Walker will help Rico Lewis's development.
I mean, the way I look upon it is, with the homegrown, Kyle Walker will be gone in 2 years probably.
Yeah.
So he's one of your homegrown. Scott Carson will probably become a coach. So he'll come off the homegrown list because he won't be a player then.
Yeah.
You've then got some. So you're going to need to bring in 2 or 3 homegrown players at some point, and City will have to do. And Pep's always liked a core of the country he's in. So go back to Bayern, he had a core of German players.
Yep.
Barcelona, core of Spanish players. City, core of English players. He likes to go that route.
And Northern if you can too. Yeah.
And exactly. So I don't think anyone will buy Laporte or Diaz because no one's got that money. No one's got 80 and 90 million. And to get Diaz and Laporte out, you're looking at 80, 90 million.
Yeah.
So if
the
anyone
only way Laporte can leave is if I see Barcelona offloading more assets.
Yeah, if they buy Gvardiol, Sergio Gomez will go out and loan them for me. Yeah. And then you're looking at probably, I don't think Aki will stay because he's homegrown. The only one you're looking at is probably Akanji. And I don't mean that in a really funny way. The only reason I mention Akanji is because we only bought him for 14, 15 million. If someone comes in and bids 50 million for Akanji, they may think, you know what, 35 million profit. Thanks very much.
Yeah. And then we can look at our academy ranks to see. Then we can look at our academy ranks. Maybe Harwood Bellis, who's having a great season at Burnley, is ready to come back. Yeah,
I'm just looking at it from the business standpoint of, I just don't think Laporte and Diaz are not. They're not affordable to anyone. They're not. You're talking big money to get them out.
The only way they're leaving is if they decide to run the contract deal.
I mean, like Alex said, City structure's unique. And the thing is, you just got to look at it. Walker has to go. He's lost the yard. Can't go because you got homegrown. This is the problem. You can't just ditch homegrown out the door. You need a minimum of 8 in the squad. You cannot just ditch homegrown out the door.
Unless you're replacing one for one.
Yes, you can't do that. It's not that easy.
Yeah. And if Walker leaves, what are we going to do? Bring in Walker Peters from Southampton?
I'd say the value was dropped to 50 million. What for about? No chance. No chance. No chance. You'd have a
because Diaz and Laporte still have at least 3 or 4 years in their contract.
Yeah.
So it's going to,
well, I think Laporte has 2025, 2026. I don't. Is it 2 or 3? 2, something like that. No, the only reason I mention Akanji is from a business point of view, Jack, because of what we paid for him and what we could sell him on at. You got to look at the resale value of Laporte and Diaz. No club around Europe can afford them.
If we sold Akanji in January, we'd get bare minimum 50 million pounds.
Yeah, which is affordable to a club around Europe.
Yeah.
When you start,
he's not exactly a young defender either. He's 27, 28 now, I think. Yeah. So he's in his prime now, and anything from the next few seasons is just going to be a slow decline. Yeah,
of course. I mean, I just think we're in a position where City are very unique. And someone's going to clip this and say, Martin said sell Akanji. I'm not. I'm saying from a business standpoint, from profit and everything else is what you got to look at. And then look at the market. No one is spending 80, 90 million on defenders unless you're Manchester City.
And from a fan's perspective too, Akanji will be seen as one of those things where it's like, thank you for your service, but you were a business.
They've done it loads of times.
From a business standpoint, you're a good player. Good, the fans liked you. Your fans thought you were great service to the club, but you were there. You were there.
And it was Torres bought him for peanuts and sold 50 odd million out the door. We've not had the money yet, but so they will do it if they can make a. So sometimes you cannot sell. You have to sell for silly money, and a 35, 40 million pound profit is silly money to any business because it is still a business. In parts. Anyway, big thank you to you, Pat, for joining us. Where can people find you, mate?
Early Bird Podcast on Facebook. Podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud. We are overdue for a show soon. I don't know if we'll get one in time before Thursday's game, but we will certainly be on the mic in the next few days, probably just after Christmas. Martin, if we can get you on, we'll certainly try and do that as well too.
Well, I'm off for about 3 weeks now, so you've got.
What, TMW's having a hiatus, are they?
No, I'm just skills are closed, mate. Christmas.
Fair enough. All right. Yeah, mate. So we might try and record because we're going to. Myself, Danny, and Jeff and Rich are probably going to be doing some sort of hosting for our Christmas party. So if we can get a microphone and record a bit of the show, and because we're going to be doing like a city pub trivia and have a bit of a laugh, we'll certainly be able to record that and try and share it out to everybody, you know, so they can have a bit of a listen, a bit of a laugh for the silly season. We certainly can do that, but otherwise, yeah, just keep an ear out on our platforms. As I said, it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. We'll certainly get back into it. Obviously, with the pointy end of the season approaching us.
Great. We are going in the new year. I'm asking while Pat's on that. We want to do a New Year quiz. We're going to do it at Christmas, but with the games, we're not going to get time. We want to do a New Year quiz.
Yep.
And we want to do Northern Hemisphere versus Southern Hemisphere.
Southern Hemisphere, yeah.
So if you can get yourself 2 or 3 team members there, Pat, we'll get ourselves a little team and we'll have a quiz night here on the Mancunian way.
I'll just let you know in advance, I do plan on traveling again on the 28th. So
this guy just wants to... You know.
I can't sit still for 10 minutes, mate. This is beyond me being able to sit this long here. It's beyond a miracle.
Thank you, Sean. This guy does more miles than Richard Branson. Tell you. Thank you, Alec. Appreciate that. Listen, it is what it is. We're off the cuff. We're raw. We're everything about it. And that's, to me, our debate show should be, or a preview or a post match. I've said it to loads. I do bullet points. I don't do scripts. We're not a play. We're not a film.
We're waffle merchants.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here and go, here's a script, lads. So, come on. I want to see emotion. I want to see passion. This is what Manchester City is about. This is what football is about.
And, of course, the most important thing, we're bridging the gap between Jurassic Park and the daycare centre.
Not letting that go anytime soon. Thank you all so much. Zabe, Jack, Alec, Sean. Zabe's only just come in, so you'll have to catch it on playback. Colonel,
thanks everyone in the chat.
I will speak with you on some shows. We're going to be having a lot of banter, me and Colonel, because obviously resident Arsenal fan.
I like this North versus South trivia. I think this is going to be a good, this is going to be some good value entertainment for all the listeners out there.
Yeah. Well, Colonel Ward's a resident Arsenal fan, so he's giddy at the moment. Mingy Wong joined us tonight. Alec Johnson, Andrew W. Always in the house. So is Sean. Big thank you. Even Alan joined us earlier on to have his sort of Mendy rant. Ray Fernley's always been on recently, and it's a pleasure. There's been loads on tonight, and if I missed you out, I apologise. Even Neil Handstock. Yusuf, our resident Scouser, has been on. He'll be crying hopefully on Thursday night. I'm hoping he will. Cafe de Casual's been on. There's been a load on. And at Stephen Bennett, I just want to thank you all. FIFA, I have a special thing. Thank you for FIFA because he shares us everywhere. And he's one of the moderators. And it is a pleasure to have him on. Charlie was back. Great to have Charlie back as well. But all of you, thank you. Have a lovely time. Antoinette, I think I'm trying to get everyone in so I haven't missed anyone. Because you all deserve a special thank you. You have all been legends. You really have this evening. If you can smash that like on the way out. If you have not subscribed, please, we are less than just over 100 away from 1,000 subscribers. And I'm begging, I want to start going live on this, on my mobile. I can start going live from the ground. Live from the Etihad. You'd love to see it.
Yeah, I like that. Would you do some match day live experiences, yeah?
Yeah, I want to get it all done. It'll be amazing. I love it. Mine's looking forward to the night of the light show. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. There always is. Yeah, thank you all so much. So 600 tickets left, they are. Get it going. Hit them likes. Great show. Thank you. Take care. We'll be back Thursday night. Keep an eye on the YouTube short. We're going out over the next few days. Around about 11-ish, we'll be done. Post-match on Thursday. So City versus Liverpool. There'll be no Thursday night chat. There'll be a Thursday night post-match. So see you all on Thursday. Take care. And come on, City.
Come on, City.
Scousers.
Ta-ra.
Bye.